India is one of our biggest maps, and it's a fun map because it has a few story beats that we've taken from recent comics and characters in the game.
We've written a history for each city so that the cities feel lived in. And I think that informs the artists so that they know like what it is that the city has been through.
Gothenburg was our chance to show Torbjorn's workshop. We created a space that kind of fits his height. So there's, step ladders and scalable tables. We designed the space as if we were Torbjorn. Molten steel is pouring out of walls. It's pretty epic when you walk into it. Toronto was under siege by Null Sector when the players arrive here. There's a dynamic snowstorm. So as you make your way through the level, the snow is slowly building up. Suddenly by the end, the characters are caught in this gigantic snowstorm and they must fight their way through.
In Overwatch 2, we want to give you choice to be able to play this character or that character. So we're designing a lot of systems around how their relationships develop over the course of the story missions in the campaign.
We have a cast of many characters, all on screen, all at the same time. And it's fantastic to actually see them all interacting and working together in ways that we've never actually seen. We've always thought about it and hoped for it, but now it's actually happening.
It actually requires us to have a whole new branching dialogue system. If you happen to have Genji and Mercy in the second mission of the game, you might get different dialogue that's about their relationship.
Our voice actors bring the characters to life in ways that everybody has fallen in love with, from inside Blizzard to the fans. Just to hear this collection of actors all together, all interacting, has been a real treat.
Hammer down!
I wish people could see how many people are involved when it comes to something like telling the story of Overwatch. It doesn't just come from a singular person, it comes from a group. And it's a really talented, fun group that all works together.
We've been developing what we hope is one of the best stories ever. And, there's some key story moments that I'm really excited about, and I really can't wait to see how people react to it.
Okay, dang it, the ending.
We've been talking about the game, about this universe. I know you all love it so much.
Right now, we can sit down and have a night of Overwatch 2 and have it be a really fun experience. And I think we need some more time till we can say it's perfectly polished in the way that we want it.
We've made such incredible strides since we first announced this and showed it to the community at BlizzCon in 2019.
The thing that I'm most excited about is that moment when we hand the game over to the players.
We want to create something that really moves people, really touches people.
That's why we do it. We create the game because we want it to become part of your life and for you to experience it.
For Overwatch 2, we're upping the bar.
It's kind of 5 games in one. It's a huge undertaking.
The new tech and the new aesthetics for the new looks bring you closer to the characters that you love, and we're just getting started.
The fidelity of the gameplay experience is much richer.
We are making cinematics that push the boundary of what we can do to tell stories.
We want this dynamic world. We want things to feel alive.
I'm really looking forward to being able to expand the world of Overwatch for our players.
We're really trying to tell this epic story.
In order to make a game great, it takes time, energy, collaboration.
We have just an incredibly professional team of designers and artists and engineers.
We just love bringing this world to you guys. So many cool characters. It's just a blast working on it.
Our goal is for Overwatch 2 to be the worthy successor to the first game, to be the next evolution, and to be a true sequel.
We have big plans, so thank you for sticking with us.
We're gonna cross the finish line, and I know it's gonna be awesome.
I hope people just end up loving playing it over and over.
That's what we want to try and capture. I'm jumping in, I'm playing. Let's go be heroes.
Give us, like, the date. Give us the date. Something? No? They don't give us no date? Come on. I need a beta date or something. Like, come on! Well, you get exclusive armor, 3 golden loot boxes. Available now. Oh, in game. Oh, and okay, in the current Overwatch.
Dolby is a proud partner of BlizzConline. Watch Shock versus the World in Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, only in the Dolby Access app.
I need a release date.
Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of BlizzConline.
We need that. Hand that over.
Who's ready for some fireworks?
You'll like this one.
Greetings. Our fates are entwined.
Oh, that was dope. Gearbox. What are these? Oh, this not coming to number 2?
Rally at my position. I feel unstoppable.
The best gets better.
Let me show you how it's done.
Ooh. Hermba, yeah!
Turning up the heat.
Oh, she look good too.
I'm ready. Give me your best shot.
새해 복 많이 받으세요.
Oh. Okay, Diva. So are all these outfits going to the new game?
You can't catch me.
I've got you in my sights.
Now we're moving.
It ain't mine, ain't it, I?
Oh, damn!
Lights out.
Oh my god!
I still got it.
That was crazy. Limited time event. Oh, now until 25th? At the 30th anniversary. Oh, that's so nice. 30 years of being a company of gaming. That's so good. Look at everybody just chilling. Ooh. Okay, we cool. Any more Overwatch? The voices of Overwatch. And the soundtrack. Okay. Is that gonna like start now? Okay. Give me all the people.
Hello and welcome to BlizzConline. My name is Andrea Toyas. I'm the Senior Casting and Voice Director at Blizzard. It's my great honor and privilege to be charged with finding all the great voices for your favorite games and bringing them to life in the studio. And today, I'm losing my mind with joy because I'm in shock that we get to do yet another voice actor panel, Voices of Overwatch, featuring our beloved characters from our most beloved game. I know it's crazy times, I know it's uncertain and scary and hard, but just know that we at Blizzard and all of our actors and people that we work with think of you and love you every day, and I know that you know that I mean that. So here we are now with Voices of Overwatch. And on top of that, I want to tell you something else because I feel like I have to talk about this. Look what can you see? I hope the camera gets what they've done. The books, the plants, the table, those are the exact chairs I wanted, the exact rug. There's ancient scrolls. There's a fireplace. They love you so much and believe in us and this voice actor panel so much they did this. So I just want to give mad gratitude and love to the BlizzCon events team because they did this. They gave us this space and they're giving us this time because they know that without you, those of you who care about the voice actor panels, none of us would be here.
Who's Tracer?
So I love you. Thank you for joining. I hope you have a great panel. We've got a great show ahead. And welcome to the Voices of Overwatch voice actor panel for BlizzConline. I mean, I wish you were all here right now because I can literally, I've got chills. To look around the room and see these people here, it just seems like a dream. This is not gonna feel real till we go home tonight. It's not gonna feel real. And you guys, usually I like to do my big surprise, who's behind door number 1, but unless they walk through the library, that wasn't gonna work. So here's the grand reveal of all of our wonderful participants. So I think you know everybody on this stage, but let me go through introductions just to kind of get us all on the same page. So of course, we could not have an Overwatch panel without the mayor of BlizzCon himself, Lord Darren DePaul, also known as Reinhardt. There we go. You at home, you got to clap. You're not here.
I don't have it.
I know.
Hi, I'm Darren.
Yay! That's right. I forgot to say you guys have to clap for us because usually you're right in front of me with your big smiling faces, but you're not here. So you got to promise me that you're clapping at home, please.
Okay, I'll clap.
And then, of course, we have to have our beloved dad. We have to have Soldier 76, also known as Fred Tatasciore. Yay!
Reporting for duty.
Yeah.
Clapping.
Happy to be here.
Clapping.
Oh, my
And really glad that you let me use my apartment. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. And then, of course, our beloved power female, totally kick-ass and wonderful in the game, our delicious diva, also known as Charlotte Chung.
Oh, Diva!
Oh, I got it. And then, if I had my way, I'd have the whole cast on this stage. It's so, every year I want you to know, having to work with the Overwatch team and choose is so difficult. But we just had to get the ones we love them all, but this is who we ended up with. And we've got our fabulous, I don't really think you guys have heard of Matt Mercer before. He's new to the nerd world. So I want to introduce you to Matt Mercer for the first time, also known as McCree.
What's good?
Happy to be here.
Kind of look like him.
Soldier Dad's apartment.
And sound just like
And
him.
we also really wanted to bring somebody new in to share our love with you and to share our
he
love
is
of
him,
her.
but yeah.
So I'm so excited, so honored and privileged to introduce you to Jeannie Bollet, who plays Echo. So Jeannie.
Ooh.
Yes.
Echo. She
Yes.
dangerous.
And I know you can't see our fans, but everybody, this is BlizzCon. These are our fans. Let's just pretend they're out there and say, we love you, we love you, we love you, we love you. Yes. And then, as you know, I always love to have somebody from the team, so I'm really honored and delighted to bring somebody to you from the Overwatch team, the creative director, Jeff Chamberlain. So this is Jeff Chamberlain. Jeff, everybody. Yes. And Jeff, you and I never talked about this, but I'm so excited. I never tell you this. I need to tell you I love you more, Jeff. But because Jeff and I have worked together for so long, I remember you and I in early StarCraft 2 sessions together. I mean, we go way back. We're OGs together. So it's always really cool to work with Jeff and have him join us. So thanks, Jeff.
My pleasure. It's always fun to, get into the recording booth with you and figure these characters out.
Yeah. Awesome. And Jeff would love to be here, but like all of us, he's got to stay extra safe for his family. Otherwise, he'd be sitting on my lap right now, right, Jeff? I think he'd be cuddling probably. Or I'd be, one of those. So I'm really, there's so much I want to talk about. I wish we had all day. We don't. So I just want to, my goal, as I said earlier in the monologue, is to have you in my living room. So the first thing I want to talk about is, how's everybody doing? It's been a tough year. It's been crazy. And I just want to ask everybody, we can go in rotation or talk together. I had a tough year. I'm doing great now. Anytime I get to be with you, I'm great. How's everybody? How you doing? Tell me about how you've been since we last saw you.
I'm fine.
I feel like you're always fine. I can't.
Well, you got to stay
sad?
joyful.
I
mean, this has been a time of distance, and yet we still find our connections where we can, whether it's online or just passing someone on the street and waving from a distance. It's sharing our hearts, and that's what I love about what we've created here. And every year we come back to it and add more people that we adore and say, welcome, it's nothing but joy. Welcome to our little world of yes.
I love that. So Darren, how have you been getting by? Like, do you get, I'm sure you get sad, but how do you just joy and gratitude and?
Yeah, we moved to a new house.
Congratulations.
It's like our first adult house ever. But we have an office and we record, and very, very lucky, knock on everything. Work keeps going, and that keeps you going. A lot of our friends in the Broadway community have not been working. We lost someone from a show a long time ago yesterday. So we've been losing a lot of our people. And I think you go back to what brings you comfort, and it's spending Zoom calls with those people. It's listening to Leon Redbone and David Byrne and Buster Poindexter, and going back to what I did in college when I had no friends. But it's that reaching for things. Did I play Diablo 3 a lot in the beginning? Yeah.
Yes.
Because that world was the world I liked to run around in and visit little shopkeepers that would go, I will survive if you buy something. And I never buy anything. So there's a little guilt there.
I love it.
But you know me, I'm just a big mouth stupid.
I love it. And I got to give a shout out. Look at Darren. Even in a pandemic, he's dressed just impeccably. Always. And we found out they make
It's Photoshop.
It's Photoshop. We found out there's onesies that are suit onesies, you said?
Or pajamas. You can
We need to get a
one super-
Kickstarter and buy him a whole wardrobe of soup.
We got you covered.
Yes.
Yay!
You'll look amazing. It's going to be a BlizzCon Overwatch sleepover next time.
Yeah.
Yes.
You always have a bow tie on. Why did you pick the tie?
I changed it up.
Oh.
I had some bow ties earlier, and then I did ties and liked them. My sister has a store, and I call her. She has a high-end men's store, and I'll call her and I'll say, hey, I want this, and I order it, and that's my way of helping her out because business has been rough, and I'm like, give me this.
Is this in New York? Or?
No, she moved to San Antonio, Texas, and she's been in Texas for a long time. My parents had moved. Those are sad stories that we do not want to get into about stuff. But it's still having that connection. Just my father was a clothing designer.
That's right.
And the Reinhardt voice is kind of him. And
That's right.
So he would like it. He'd go, you look good.
You look amazing.
Yes.
You
but
always...
bow ties are good on you as well.
It's so hard not to just bite your face and hug you. I just want to bite you so bad. All
Many
of you.
people say that.
Yeah, it's true. Well, how's everybody else? How's everybody doing?
Doing all right.
Hanging in.
Yeah. We're very, very lucky to be able to keep doing this.
Yes.
I've got a toddler. I've been quarantined with a toddler.
Zemo.
He's amazing. Yeah, my little guy, and he's and my wife and I have been having actually a really good time. I mean, it's a handful, but it's been so great to just be able to get out of the recording booth and then just play with him, as opposed to 2 hours of traffic. Not complaining about traffic, just saying it's really a blessing. I mean, I hate what's happening to the world, with the virus and the economic thing and just everything that's happened. But it's been a real blessing to be at home, actually, because I've lived out of my car for so long. And so this has been really nice. I like being at home, growing food, and just it's been a real blessing. And like you, getting into all the stuff that was a passion for me early on. Any kind of music or films or art.
What was your favorite? What are you listening?
Well, I love the David Byrne stuff that you're talking about. But but there's
American Utopia.
Yeah, all of that.
So good.
But there's just so many things. So it's been a blessing.
I miss seeing you at the gym.
I know. I miss it. We both lived downtown, and we would catch each other at the Y. It was very, very cool.
Wow, Soldier 76 and Reinhardt working out?
Yeah, we're actually working out at the Y.
Because I want to go there whenever this
I used to live around the corner from Charlotte.
Yeah.
So there's always this little world of
And I would see him walking down the street to the gym with his gym bag.
3 Overwatch characters all living
in this
close.
one little area. Right. It was pretty funny. Yeah.
Tell me what the interaction was like between Soldier 76 and Reinhardt at the gym.
Hey,
oh gosh.
How are you?
I'm going to pump you up. That was a line another German said.
I'll let you to it. I'm going to hit the pool. All right.
Don't hit it too hard. This was a joke.
No, I get it. Very good.
I hope that exact scene happened.
Pretty much.
It did before they threw us out.
Oh my gosh. Well, to Fred's point, I think kids keep you really grounded. I don't have kids, I got pets, which are like my kids, but
Beautiful
kids
pets.
keep you centered though, right?
Yeah, so do pets.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, they do. Actually, they do, and it's and you'll be hearing from this one here. It's amazing to try to just have the time to dial in to his thinking and to what he's playing, and and seeing this personality and this body just forming right in front of your eyes. It's just astounding. It really is. It's one of the best things, and most challenging too.
Yes.
But it's a happy challenge.
Yes. And I think it reminds us that nothing else matters, I would imagine, with your child. Talking about forming humans, Charlotte's formed some humans. Tell us,
Need a
Charlotte.
baby diva.
Yes. Tell us.
So,
it's been a wild ride, and going through all of that through the pandemic has been an interesting kind of situation, but a really blessed one because, like Fred said, we have been able to spend a lot of time with our kids. But this is sort of a full circle moment for me because 5 years ago, at the very first Overwatch panel for BlizzCon, I was here with these lovely gentlemen, and it was, you're telling us to be real.
Absolutely,
so
Mama.
I'm sharing something that I kind of shared on social media, but I had lost a baby 2 weeks before BlizzCon. I had a miscarriage. It was my first pregnancy, and then you look back and you go, at the time things don't make sense, but it does in hindsight. And when I look back and knowing that then I had gotten, sort of rushed into this world of Overwatch and the fans and BlizzCon, and how much it changed my life since then, it all sort of makes sense, the timing of life and whatnot. But I came in with a lot of sadness, actually, at that BlizzCon. But then having met you all, that really just changed my life and in so many ways. I sat next to Fred, Papa 76.
I love it.
And he was actually my favorite, he voices my favorite character in Call of Duty. And so I was starstruck.
Oh.
And
Thank you.
yes, and Fred
That's
and
you.
Matt
What?
were going back and forth. Like, you guys probably don't remember this, but I was in back of you watching it in line, and you guys were doing voices and stuff, and I was shaking like a leaf because it was such a, it's a nerve-wracking, intense moment. There were 2,000 people in the room that day. Since then, I think I was on a panel with Matt in Atlanta with like 5,000 people. And then, of course, you went to the UK and did one for like 100,000 people. So you're on a different, level.
You
but
showed none of those nerves. I can tell you that.
You did so great.
But I
you-
learned so much, especially sitting next to Fred and seeing.
He gave me so much
his,
McCree vibes,
his
like
love for
in real life.
fans and whatnot. And so, yeah, just then, from coming from the loss, and then 5 years later, I made a baby last year. His name is Guy, and I made a baby this year. Her name is Gal.
Guy and Gal?
Guy and Gal.
So good.
Boy and girl.
That's
we kept it
amazing.
simple, but yeah, it's definitely just a really heartwarming moment. And I'm so glad to be back with all of you, and welcome to Jeannie as well. And
That's good.
yeah, it's been it's so wonderful to be back.
We made it through. I'm so happy to see you, which I want to talk about. How you guys were on the original panel, so I want to get into how your lives have changed, and that's such a beautiful story. Before we go there, Jeannie and Matt and Jeff, how you guys been doing in this last year? You've been holding steady, good days, bad days, everything in between days?
Everything and more, and sometimes less.
Yeah.
Obviously, I came into the Overwatch world just as the pandemic hit. I remember
we had a session like right before.
We had a session, and there was a TV in the kitchen at LA Studios, and we could see these cruise liners being docked, and people being, and we're watching it, just going, what's going on? This is absolutely crazy, not knowing that the whole city, the whole country was going to shut down, and so it kind of felt not anticlimactic. I didn't know what to expect. So it almost gave me this extra space, to sit into what this world could potentially be, and to brace myself for that communication and that connection with the fans, which has really been quite lovely. I wasn't sure, because I'm quite a private person, and I'm quite shy in my own world. I'm definitely a bit of a hermit. I write a lot. That's my other thing. I do a lot of creative writing. So I wasn't sure what was going to come knocking at my door or slide into my DMs, and it has been nothing but joy, as you were saying before, and just knowing how open, how loving, how sharing the whole community has been. It's like, wow, we're all just human beings trying to get through it and find some joy, find some connection. So there are days when I can feel really down, and even though I'm used to spending time on my own, there are days when I'm like, God, I miss everybody. I really just want to communicate. I want to connect. I want to take those deep dives. And sure enough, there'll be a message.
Where's she at?
And it's someone who I don't know, just saying, hey, this is what's happening with me today. Or you'll never guess what. This happened, or I'm feeling like this. And at first, I'm not a professional psychiatrist or therapist or any of those things, but so having someone share information during a time when we all really need to share, I was quite scared of giving out information that was like, oh God, what is this going to do then? But realizing it's okay to share a little bit of yourself, like we're doing right now, right? Now more than ever, we're going through it. And we're going to get through it. But there will be days like there are when it's a bit heavy. And then there are days when, I pull my dogs in and I give them a cuddle, and I crack open the karaoke mic and I put on YouTube. And all of a sudden I'm like, babe, I'm going to sing badly, okay? And he's like, all right. And I hear his door
Sounds
close.
like we're going to do that soon.
I think we need to do that.
I think we need to do that. Yeah.
I hear his door close over as well. And then I just bust out some tunes and, you know, music, it really heals. Video games, I'm not a gamer, and I think I've said this a lot in social media, but my husband plays a lot of different games, and at Overwatch, I've watched him play, and just storytelling in whatever format, films, you know, I'm a big film buff, I absolutely love that.
Be my character.
Long, medium format.
Be my character. Why don't you play
animation,
as
my husband's an animator, creative director, so any kind of storytelling to connect us to being human and humanity, that's getting me through right now.
I think you're right. That word connection, I think, is more important than ever. Like I was saying earlier to these guys, and I said on the WOW panel, I'll never take a hug for any kind of connection, any text, message, anything is so important now. I think it's been hard days, but it slowed us down to remind us what's important. So Matt, how are you doing? I mean, I know you don't really have much to do. You're probably sitting around all the time doing nothing.
Yeah.
Not much in your world that's exciting.
No, I'm hanging in. I'm hanging in. I feel very lucky that I can still be so busy in this time, but to me it also means it's an opportunity to try and get other people busy as well. You know, it's to a sense connection. A huge part of connection is community, and we all have to rely on each other, especially in times of crisis like this. So it's, you know, helping out with mutual aid funds, GoFundMe's that you see in social media. With me and my friends that have our company Critical Role, we finally launched our Critical Role Foundation charity, and are just trying to do what we can to get other people hired and find work and business for other people. And so it's just, it really brings a lot of things into perspective about when you have the opportunity, when you have the platform to use it to lift others up with you, because who knows when you'll need their help to pick you up as well. And that's kind of been a really big, even further clarifying theme in these moments. So that's been very fulfilling, as much as it's been also very tiring. But whereas we don't have any children, we did get a dog.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What kind?
He's a corgi.
Oh, gorgeous.
Pembroke Welsh corgi.
That's Blizzard approved.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. I don't think we didn't immediately bring up our molten corgis and WoW and pretend. But we wanted to get a dog for a long time, and we've just out of the house so often that if we're gonna get a dog, we need to spend those first few months that are so important to bond and help raise them properly. And we only really got that with this pandemic, and we were like, well, if this is the time that we're going to be at home to do this, let's do it. So his name's Omar, and he's been a huge anchor in our life through a lot of our anxieties and all the challenges. But moments like this, being able to be in this panel with you wonderful people, to invite you into our crazy, ridiculous family, is very, very much cherishing these moments and appreciative for when they do come. So.
Yes. And for me, my animals, I've got 3 black cats and a dog, and it's like, those are my frontline workers, are my animals, because they anchor me. So Jeff, how are you? I mean, Jeff, Blizzard, I feel like all of my friends at Blizzard are working so hard, and Jeff, is impossible because your schedule is so full. I think you're working harder now. Jeff, how are you doing? I mean, work and life, how are you? I don't ask you that enough.
Good. I mean, obviously, it's a balance between being aware and respectful of everything that's going on in the world, but then also finding the silver lining. So on the Overwatch team, you know, we're all on Zoom all day long and meeting up and just cranking through the game and making it as good as we can. The one thing that I actually have enjoyed during all of this is I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, and you know, in between meetings, I can go in and get a hug or a high five from them. That's awesome. I feel closer to them now than I ever have. Not that I love them more or anything like that, but just that I get to spend more time with them than I did when I was in the office all day. So that's really nice. And also it's the same thing with my wife. And then the other thing I think that's really nice, and some people also mentioned this, is that now everybody's on, you know, some sort of format of communication through their computers. I actually spend more time with my siblings who are all over the country. And just the other day, my son, who's 6, played a board game with my brother, who's much older than 6. So it's just fun to watch, you know, it's fun. And, you know, I reconnected with 2 of my childhood friends who I really don't get an opportunity to talk to that much anymore. But, you know, we get online and talk to each other much more than we ever have before. So I just see it as like a really horrible thing that's going on, but it's forced us to find another way to enjoy each other. And in some ways, it's actually opened up new avenues to reconnect with people that, we may have lost that opportunity in the past.
Mm-hmm. Amen to all of that. So I mean, it's just amazing. And so I'm going to ask you quickly, Jeff, and I'm going to talk about what we've been through. Since we're on you, Jeff, I mean, we're all trying to get Overwatch 2 done. I mean, how is it? We were talking on the WoW panel that when we're at Blizzard, we can all jam together, be in the room together, have ideas, get a coffee, do our thing. We can't do that now. So what's it been like to try to bring Overwatch 2 to life when you're remote and you don't have those same connective tissues that we had when we were on campus? How's that going? And tell us every single secret about Overwatch 2 while you're doing it. So let's do both of those.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like next year.
That could take the whole panel.
It looks about done though.
Let's do it.
It's interesting. It's interesting that you pick up on that. I think when we first started doing this, it was a lot more challenging for us because, we often would get into it, what we would call a writer's room or a jam session or something like that. And there's just a creative energy in the room. And it's like, okay to interrupt people with an idea because, I really love your idea and I think we should do this, that sort of thing. And as soon as you get online, that's not quite as possible because, an interruption online, the audio doesn't really, it isn't quite as natural, if you know what I mean. But I think we struggled with it initially, but then ultimately, I think we all got used to the format and we found ways to continue to have those sort of jam sessions. And I'm in them almost all day, every day. And we're just constantly trying to figure out new things and refine things and figure out new story beats and all that stuff. So yeah, I think we've adapted. I guess that's the best way.
So how's Overwatch 2 looking? Best thing ever? No secrets. Damn it. Come on, just one secret, Jeff. One secret. Nothing. Doesn't love us. That's fine.
Give us a release date.
It's really great. The creativity still goes on. It was hard for me at first, but it's something to focus on during hard times. But what I want to talk about, the main gist of this panel was, so the reason, obviously Jeannie's new, which is why she's here, but I looked at the panel from 2016 and was like, let's bring the original players back because I don't think at 2016, any of us really logged in what was going to happen with Overwatch and how our lives were going to change. I mean, I'll never forget one quote I always talk about. Fred, I'm going to quote you. Damn. Fred said, Fred does lots of cons, and his wife turned to him and with a Soldier 76 success, said to him, when did you turn into one of the Beatles? Like, so I want to open table this, and then Gina will come to you because I want to talk all about what it's like to come into this family.
It's a strange thing.
You are all like ridiculously loved and famous and cherished and beloved. What's it been like? Tell me, since that panel in 2016, now you're rock stars. We have to, those of you who have not been to BlizzCon, when Darren was in the Hilton Bar one night, we had to form a human shield. We had to form a human shield because we were getting mauled.
We had a tank for the tank.
Yeah, a tank for the tank.
So, we're my shield!
Yeah, so for anybody, so did you, questions, what was it like? Did you think, tell me what it's been like.
You did. Kinda, because I told you, that was my first ever cast panel. Ever. And just being there at BlizzCon, and I'd gone the year before just to attend when it was announced. I'm like, this is amazing. And to be announced, and we were all waiting and meeting everybody and being so excited, and I was the second. And Cara Theobald was first, and I had my candy. And I was standing there, and I was really nervous, and I was kind of tearing up, and I was seeing everybody cheer. And I went, the minute you step out there, everything changes. Because I'm like, this is a big thing. We love this so much. We were hoping that they did. But it did. It's this incredible journey that we've gone through. And every year that we return to these characters and kind of don these vocal clothes, again, I keep saying it's joy, and I'm overwhelmed by that. But it became this force for good. And I don't think that's what we expected.
That's right.
That it was this positivity and that we could always be joyful whenever we met people or doing a Make-A-Wish. I've done 4 Make-A-Wishes. I think we all have done them. And that these characters mean so much to children. And it all started there from, the time when I was like, I'm going to throw candy. My wife said, that's a bad idea.
I love
like
that.
And now? Your house for Halloween. Let's just bring candy. It'll be a thing.
You're confused.
And it's just always been joyful. So, yeah, I guess in a way I kind of went, everything did change.
Well, on the live stream?
I don't think anybody's expecting
Overwatch
it to be a
people?
phenomenon.
Yeah.
You came here like super late.
To an extent, and they can.
Yeah, these are all like the Overwatch
or people
voice
engage
actors
with
and stuff. They're all just talking on a
this
panel.
had such a global impact.
I just wanted to hear it because I've never been to BlizzCon myself, so I just wanted to sit in and watch it.
Along with that joy, it's also a unique responsibility to the point that where the community is looking to us in hard times to be a beacon of light, or a reminder of joy and a reminder of strength and heroism in a time where that seems to not always be present in a lot of other forms of the media and the world around us. And yeah, it's a video game, it's a work of fiction, but what work of fictions have always done is remind us what we want to achieve, how we want to make things better. It's that inspiration that keeps us thinking about how we can better ourselves and our situation in the world around us. And it's I don't know, I'm very thankful to be a part of this with these wonderful people, and the fact that we can still, all this time later, be inviting amazing new people into this group, this family, to bring their own joy and light to it, and just be so excited for each other and for everyone else in this community to engage with it. It's joyful. Yeah. Once again, you hit it on the nail.
I just need you to say that Overwatch is a million times more important than Critical Role. Can you just say that? I'm just wondering if we can get that on
I am
tape.
legally unable to speak about this.
But I know you think it.
Very different engines.
We can call it Joyful Watch.
Joyful
Watch. Joyful Watch. That's the DLC.
I mean, you and I know what you love the most, so we'll just leave it there. It's fine.
I can tell you, Overwatch, much more polished.
Okay. Yeah.
We're a bunch of slapdicks just messing around on the internet.
Well, it's still amazing. But I think you hit a good point. Like we always say at Overwatch, it's our vision for a better future, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's really great.
It's what we could be.
What we could be.
Yeah, and like you're saying, it's a force for good, and that how inclusive it is, and how everyone has their own character traits and their abilities and their strengths, and what might be regarded as a weakness is actually a strength. It's pretty astounding, and the fact that it's hit worldwide is crazy. That I could go to the UK or go anywhere and Dubai or whatever, and somebody is saying, yes, I really connected to this character for these reasons.
Yeah.
And it started again as a character that was near and dear to my heart, but I had no idea it would take on this, like you say, a phenomenon. I kind of got a sense when we announced it at BlizzCon that it was such a big deal that time. I was like, this is really anticipated. You know, I was a little out of the loop on that, but it's just, it has changed my world considerably.
Yes.
Because of just being able to go to conventions and go to these places. The response has just been overwhelming, crossing barriers of cultures and languages. And being able to juggle the things they have me write. It's terrible, I can't repeat.
I have to hit mastering first.
And you're right, the Make-A-Wish
And
is
get out
the best
of
part of the
Diamond.
gig. All of the things that you can, have people focus on and be open about it. It's a really incredible ride. Really.
Well, you are kind of like everybody's dad now. That's a big responsibility.
That was a funny thing too, because that started as a joke. I took it as a character who just cares about his soldiers and cares about everybody, and I took that on as like
if
a coach
I make
or a
it to
dad.
master,
That's how
there's a
was
chance
playing
that I
it in
might
my
not
head.
make it.
That made sense to me.
I gotta
and that's
study
near
the
and dear to
ways
how
of
I feel
Diamond
about
players.
everybody in reality. But when they started coming in with all these memes and all these like art, the chef, the dad art, that was fan. Even though it was planned, that was so much fan influence. I've never worked on a project where the fans had such a say in what went on. You know what I mean? As opposed to, we've worked on other projects where it was like, this is a very private, thing that no one's going to know about, and we're going to surprise them with this. Then all of a sudden, it's like
33 days
you can make a lot of dad art and jokes, and it's going to show up. Some of these lines are going to show up.
It only took
That's
me
the other
like
thing. The film.
3 or 4 days,
Oh my
a full
God.
day to get to Diamond.
It's next. We just opened up. I don't think any of us knew, and I'll come to Jeff in a second. None of us knew what was going to come, but I'll circle back with Jeff about from the developer perspective. But Charlotte, I mean, as you kind of covered it a little bit earlier, but again, none of us knew. We were like.
And I'm going to echo what everyone else has been saying, but the global impact that the game has had is something that I completely didn't expect at all. But I think for me personally, what I have gained is a tremendous respect for our cast, and in terms of there is not a single person that I can say is using their platform in a way that is negative or anything like that. I'm really proud to know every cast member. We have like upwards of 30 some.
I don't know how many characters do we have now, Jeff? A lot.
A lot.
87.
87. 87. That's right.
And whether it's encouraging the fans through this global pandemic, or for me, I personally used my platform platform as a voice for to talk about racial injustice, which is something that with George Floyd and everything came up this year. And
if you missed,
people,
so my stream crashed, and
really
some of the maps that they was previewing,
for
they was talking about it.
Using your platform for.
So yeah, I saw it all. It's in the last live stream.
The thoughts and
the last
the
one
heart
crashed
of
for me.
those who are voiceless at times. And so, it was something that, I was not very much prepared for, but nothing prepares you for this kind of responsibility, as you said. And my son Guy actually, so speaking of all the traveling and everything, I think one of my favorite places that I got to visit because of Overwatch is Kuwait. Kuwait was an amazing experience, and just being able to travel to so many states and so many countries. And my son was traveling with us from 2 months, so he's a con baby.
Yeah.
And now I've got a baby girl who is 2 months now, and can't take her anywhere right now. But hopefully one day she can start traveling with us again when everything, when the world is well. But yeah, I very much proud of being a part of our Overwatch community. And you were talking about the cultural impact as well. The diversity is, something that we always talk about, but it's now with the pandemic and how everybody's it's been a humbling experience, right? We've all I feel like it's just really pared us down as human beings to what's really important. Absolutely. And though we are diverse as a cast, I've also seen that the reality is we're more alike than just the diversity that is obviously beautiful, but we're all human and connected. And so even just the, I think, genre of video games at one point, it was thought to be something that was a waste of time or a little of a niche thing or something that was a problem for the young generation. But look at us now, what our game is doing. It's bringing everybody together and giving people hope in a time and a moment of connection in a time that we really need it. So I feel like it. And speaking of which, the Beatles, there was a Rolling Stones article about Overwatch, and they called us the Beatles of video games.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So
I got you in my sights.
That's what we're gonna have to do. If John Lennon was an Overwatch.
No,
not a young man anymore.
I love it.
That's the born Liverpooler.
Now wait, you're like.
Hold on.
I know.
I am actually from Liverpool. We
have a Beatle.
A real
Liverpool strong.
So beautifully said, Charlotte. So all this being said, and Jeff, I'll come to you in a second, but so beautifully said. But yeah, so Jeannie, walking into this world, I remember I love when I get new actors for Overwatch. I'm like, okay, you have no idea what's about to happen.
Right.
Let me try to prep you best I can. And I think a lot of actors are like, oh, sure. And then the tsunami hits. So walking into what we're talking about, so recently the freshest new member,
okay.
What's it been like from when I warned you to now? That was
the overall Overwatch experience.
You were absolutely sharing the truth.
Yeah, peace out. But if you want to watch more of this or the rest of this, they're still live.
So lovely, and it prepared me in such a warm, fuzzy kind of way. Was
peace out.
That you said, most IPs, most games